We've all bought things that we don't need, but following some rather dubious purchases by Liam, we thought we'd take a look at 6 of the best ways that you can waste money on your bike.
Whilst me and Jamie do agree with most of these selections, upgrade number 6 has left the office a little bit split. So make sure you let us know which side of the fence you sit on.
First up, we have oversized pulley wheel systems. Now, whenever we review one of these, the comment section is soon filled with anger and hate and
violence.
Exactly, and we have to say that a lot of the time it is justified.
The thing is that they just cost so much. Like, normally we're looking at the best part of, what, 500 quid? And they offer, like, very marginal gains.
I mean, some of them look cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, manufacturers would have you believe that if you fit one of these, the very next thing you'll be doing is winning the Tour de France. The truth is that yes, a few watts can be saved, but it acts on a place where the chain isn't under any tension, so the gains are always going to be minimal.
Yeah, the one way that they can save watts is by reducing chain tension. That's fine during a smooth time trial, but can lead to increased chance of dropping a chain when used on bumpy roads.
And that's probably why everyone isn't using them in the Tour de France.
Basically, the big group set manufacturers have done a very decent job with their standard derailleur cages to save you the money and just, well, stick to them.
Absolutely, we agree on that one. Next on our list is integrated cockpits, and that kind of pains me to say because I do love the clean look on my race bike with no cables showing. However, do you need it? No, not really.
Yeah, very true. On a race bike, they may be worth going for, but on everything else, it's probably more hassle than it's worth. I've been testing a cyclocross bike with an integrated cockpit, and every few months a cable goes and the whole front end needs tearing apart.
That is a pain.
It's a nightmare.
Integrated cockpits are also a pain if you ever want to take your bike somewhere in a box on holiday. The cables and hoses going through the bars don't allow very much movement, so if they need turning sideways, then you could really be in some trouble. If you're already too late and have purchased an integrated bike, then we do recommend the Bikebox Allen Aerofit Triathlon.
A collection of those words, type into Google, you'll find it.
Anyway, we found it an absolute lifesaver. It's really good.
Yeah. Moving on to our third bike upgrade that you don't need, and as lovely as it is, Dura-Ace.
Absolutely. Shimano's top-of-the-range group set is an upgrade that we just don't think is justifiable. Not when it costs over £1,000 more, depending on power meter options, and saves just 278 grams over its baby brother Ultegra.
I mean, when you realise that both are available with Di2, house all the same motors, and even Shimano say that the shifting performance is just as good, well, the maths doesn't really add up, does it?
To put it into perspective, 278 grams is about, well, it's half a bottle of water.
Yeah.
And whilst yes, on climbs every little helps, we just don't think that's a feasible difference to your Sunday cafe ride, or even an at-B road race, actually.
Yeah. We're not just saying this either. What do we both ride? Ultegra.
Right then, time for some controversialness with our next one. I can't believe we're saying this, but Tubeless.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't once put this on it, actually.
Yeah, so this isn't one that we agree on. I personally think that tubeless on the road is a bit pointless. I still think an inner tube works a little bit better. Though I do run tubeless on my gravel bike and my mountain bike.
Whereas I don't dislike it. It saved me a few times from having to stop and put a tube in, and that's good enough for me. There are some aspects that could still do with some work. Sealants are now designed for higher pressures, and tyres are reluctantly getting easier to fit.
Personally, I've tested too many tubeless wheels with tubeless tyres that don't go together, and sealant ends up all over the floor. And I've been, pumping on my mini pump till my triceps have maybe actually developed. I don't like it.
Well, it's not idiot proof. Yeah, okay, I agree. There are some combinations that definitely work better than others, and I do begrudge having to pay extra for tubeless tyres versus their tube-type clincher counterparts.
I would say there are a couple more points on this. Firstly, if I was building a race bike, a pure race bike, I would have tubeless with the liners in, just because I think it's a safer system if you're actually in a bunch racing and you're never going to see a pothole or whatever.
Yeah, you can keep going until the team car gets to you.
Yeah, the one thing I really don't like about tubeless tyres is generally the casings are a lot stiffer than a really nice clincher tyre on an open tubular.
They're getting better.
They are getting better. I'm sure you'll all let us know your feelings down in the comments below. Do you need them? Answer me.
Well, I'm not answering that. But one thing that we agree far more on is the fact that ceramic bearings at our level are just a bit unnecessary.
Yeah, so we are lucky enough to test all sorts of equipment from wheels, bottom bracket, jockey wheels and so on, many of which come with the latest and greatest ceramic bearings. Does this mean that they're the best products out there? Quite often, no. It just means that they're significantly pricier compared to their steel bearing kind of counterparts.
There's all sorts of studies on ceramic bearings that you can go and read online if you fancy it. But the general gist is that the good ones are good and the bad ones are worse than some good quality steel bearings. Yeah. Sadly, however fast we pedal, the rotational speeds of the bearings in our bikes, wherever they may be, is fairly minuscule when compared to other applications like aerospace or motors or where they use ceramic bearings.
Yeah. So when you're summing up where best to drop a few £100 on your road bike upgrades, then we recommend that you seriously consider those 10 or so watts and whether they can be found elsewhere. Maybe a few months with a coach or a more aerodynamic position, or just keeping your current bearings maintained.
Exactly, yeah. So then, number 6, we said that it was going to be controversial. Go on, Lim, do the honours. I can't bring myself to say it.
It's disc brakes! And before it all kicks off in the comments, I'd just like to point out that we do actually both ride on disc brakes and they do have their benefits. But do you actually need them? I would say no.
Well, when looking for a new bike, there is now a really quite large price discrepancy between disc brake and rim brake bikes. And there's a lot of people just completely discount the rim brake bikes with no consideration. And we're just saying, consider one.
Yeah.
Let's get this straight. There's nothing wrong with rim brakes. It was an absolutely perfectly good solution for absolutely decades.
Yeah, I would also say that I've been helping a friend to find a new bike, and we've been looking at the second-hand market.
Yeah.
The deals that you can get on rim brake bikes are brilliant. So just consider it at least, especially if you mainly ride in the dry. We've already said that they can be cheaper, but did you also know that they're generally lighter as well? That's why we kind of used to see the Tour de France favourites switching back to a rim brake bike on the biggest mountain stages. I
would rather rim brake bikes over cable pull disc brakes.
Yes, absolutely.
If you want to delve even deeper into the pros and cons of discs, then take a look at our What They Don't Tell You About Disc Brakes video. That should be appearing on your screen right about now.
If you think we've missed any road bike upgrades that you don't need, then let us know in the comments below. Otherwise, we hope that we've managed to save you a few quid, maybe. Remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.